Welcome to Anything Goes. I'm your 5-wing 4 host, Madison.
And I am your 9-wing 1 host, Caden.
Welcome back. Want to just jump right in to the intro?
Yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah. Okay, so we have an email and we have a Twitter. Our email is EnneathingGoes@gmail.com. And our Twitter is @EnneathingGoes. You should definitely email us or tweet at us.
Tell us if you want us to be on other platforms, too.
Yeah, we could probably do an Instagram or something.
I don't know. I think that the 3s and the 4s would enjoy an Instagram. I don't know what platform you're listening to us from, our wonderful viewer, listener, but check us out on our other platforms, including Apple,
Yeah,
Spotify,
we're on
YouTube, and what else do we have, Maddie?
Oh, we have so many. Just all of them. Hold on. I can actually pull this up because I don't think I've ever done.
Google us also. That might work.
We have a website. You can listen to us on our website.
Fancy.
Let me see. Our website is EnneathingGoes.buzzsprout.com. And we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Castro, Castbox. We have our RSS feed on our website. We are also on Chromecast, and we are on iHeartRadio because we've had a listener on iHeartRadio.
I'm surprised we're not on Castaway.
Maybe?
Flat?
Oh, wait, what?
Never mind, move on. So, if you're currently unemployed like I am, don't worry about this. But if you're not and would like to stay employed, we are not safe for work.
We're also LGBT friendly. I am that B. I am bisexual.
We're gonna say this every single time, I guess. Just gonna throw it out there. Yep.
I mean, maybe eventually we'll get rid of it, but I don't know. I like asserting my LGBT dominance. I don't know.
I wanna bisexual energy.
Yeah, it is. The aggressive bisexual energy. Maybe it's me going to 8. I don't know.
Maybe. Assert yourself. Maybe I'll go to 3 and assert myself for this episode.
Yeah. We're also not professionals. We haven't really taken any classes on the Enneagram. We're not trained Enneagram people. We just are Enneagram enthusiasts and have read some books and articles and stuff. But yeah. Ready to move on?
Ready to move on.
Okay.
Last question was 3s. What does it look like when you disintegrate to 9? Do you have an answer, Maddie?
So I looked it up. I looked up a bunch of websites, and basically a lot of them said that 3s kind of slow down and become complacent. And I think that's true for the most part. I think that's a generalized, more of a healthy kind of 3 disintegrating to 9. But I also think that probably more realistically, or like with the average and unhealthy levels, maybe more panic attacks. And like just overall panic, because like they put a lot of pressure on themselves to be not like in a one way to like be good, but like to look good, to have that image. And like when they can't achieve that, or when they feel like they're not achieving it, there can be like some panic attack stuff.
You think just go through 9 and head straight to 6 terror?
I wouldn't say 6 terror. I just think that, like, I don't know. So I have some 3 friends, and a lot of them have problems with, like, anxiety and, like, panic attacks and stuff. I don't know if that's them disintegrating to 9, or if that's something
a separate
else.
Personality thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that's a common thing that I've noticed in my 3 friends.
I can see some performance anxiety, yeah.
Mhm. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that like 3s at 9, their identity is already so dependent upon how other people like are perceiving them, but they like the core of that 9 is the sense that you don't have a sense of self. And so like
Mhm.
that's what the disintegration like really indicates for me, is the idea that like you literally just look in the mirror one day and you're like, I don't fucking know anything about what I enjoy in life.
Mm.
I've built myself entirely around other people, and you have an identity crisis.
Hmm. Interesting. I like that. Okay. Ready to go on to
Uh-huh.
All right. So a recap. Our first episode, we did a brief introduction of all the different types. So a recap of some of that information. 3s are known as the achiever, the performer, the charmer, the professional. I don't know. Do you have any other names?
No, I think the Cheever is the most common one that I've come
Yeah.
across. No.
Achiever is definitely the most common. Yeah.
So their basic fear is of being worthless. Why do you have Mulan in here?
Because Mulan, every time I hear that, I think of the scene in Mulan where she's like, it's after she's been discovered and Shang kicks her out, and then like Mushu's having his little rant, and she goes, I just wanted to look in the mirror and see someone worthwhile. And she like throws the helmet on the ground and is like, that's not what I see. I'm worthless or whatever. Something like that. And then Mushu like comforts her. And so every time I see the like fear of being worthless and the desire to feel valuable and worthwhile, it just makes me think of Mulan and how I'm fairly certain Mulan is type 3.
You know what? I can buy it, but the thing about that is like so striking to me is that you usually think type 3s are like conformists in certain ways because of all of that pressure to find your self-worth through like how people
Mm-hmm.
see you, right? That you can be
Mm-hmm.
super normative or you can come off that way because that's what you
I
expect people to like.
mhm. I think that the like conforming depends more on your subtype.
Mm.
I don't think Mulan was like a self-pres or a sexual. I think she was more of a social. And I think, hold on, let me go back to the like,
Well, okay, Helen Palmer has stuff to say about this.
yeah.
She has a little chart that I've been
Mhm.
trying to decipher what all of these charts mean at the beginning of her chapters. But she has subtype ways of being. And she says that the sexual subtype, like that sort of one-on-one attention, is
Yeah.
about image.
Mhm. And specifically masculinity and femininity. But I think I would put Mulan as a social sexual because the social is prestigious. And Mulan wants to go out. She wants to be that war hero. She wants to be seen as prestigious and standing out against the crowd. And then I think the sexual nature of it. I don't think she has much self-pres, honestly, because she's not really security minded. She's like,
No.
I'm going to go out, I'm going to
What
live with all the boys. I don't
what do
know.
you think about Mulan being a 1, motivated by like love of family and like this is the right thing? Does that not hit you right?
It doesn't hit me right just because like yes, she was upset that her father was going to have to go and stuff like that. But I don't think that was her main reason. Like her whole thing, like that whole breakdown on the mountain is I didn't really do this. Like I did do this for my family, but I did it more for me so
To
that I
prove
could,
to myself that I could do it.
yeah, and prove to myself that I'm valuable and worthwhile. I don't know.
I'll
She
consider.
could be a 1 though.
I don't
But
think
also,
she really is, but I was just throwing it out there just as like a contrast.
I think also that she's got to be in the heart triad somewhere because her duty is to her heart.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like a 1, so like especially in the second movie when she's
The
got to
second one
transport
and the emperor stuff, and she's like, "But I duty isn't to my heart." And then, one
yeah,
would be like, "Ah, fuck."
yeah. And the 1 would be like, well, I mean, it kind of sucks, but you got to do
You
what you
gotta
got to
do.
do.
Just gotta suffer sometimes.
Yeah.
Loved ones.
I love 1s. But yeah, so I don't see Mulan as being a 1. There are some
Yeah.
1 tendencies, but I think it's more in a 3-way.
Yeah. Okay, I'll buy it. Send us your thoughts, people. Is Mulan a 3?
All right. So, we've touched on this before, but like growth and stress. So 3s go to 9 in stress or disintegration, and they go to 6 in growth or integration.
So, okay, we talked about our theories about what that disintegration looks like, but we should talk about our theories about what that integration might look like.
Okay. I think the 6 is just finding that security and stability in their own like self like stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the so like I think it's the inverse of obviously the 3 going to 6 where 3's going to 6 in stress fixate on their like self-image and stuff like that.
6 is going to 3s, you mean?
3's going, or yeah, 6 is
6
going to
to 3 in
3's.
stress.
Yeah. And so it's the inverse of that and the kind of like dropping of the image. But I'm not sure how 6 fear goes into that. I think it also has to do with the like external facing versus internal facing.
Yeah.
And so needing to switch, which
But
I'm
I think that the 369s are all both external and internal.
that's true. And they are the most removed from their centers. And I think that has a lot to do with why they are both internal and external. Because having your center kind of grounds you in, like, I don't know, because like one side is the external of the center and one is the internal of the center. Being a 3, 6, or 9 puts you in the direct middle of that.
Right. So, okay, but so if self-pres 3s are security minded, do they have an easier or harder time integrating? Or is it just like it's hard to integrate no matter what, you just kind of integrate differently?
I feel like it's hard to integrate no matter what. I think it's the areas of integration that are more difficult.
Oh, so you might have a different area of your life that you need to integrate in.
So like for instance, I could see self-pres 3 having trouble integrating in like when they're at work because there's a lot of pressure to like make money and have a nice house and like have all of that. And so it would probably be you're probably more focused on like yourself and your image and all of that at work and aren't able to necessarily let go of that to integrate and be like authentic and see some of your like virtues and stuff. Whereas a sexual would have more problems in the relationship aspect because they want their partner to see them as like being perfect and
3s in relationships. We should circle back around to that later.
Yes. All right. Their intelligence center, they are part of the heart intelligence center and the shame intelligence center. So in general, your intelligence center is going to be what you're most focused on or where you live. However, with the 3, 6, and 9s, they are the most removed from that center. So they are the most removed from their shame and they are the most removed from their heart.
Yeah, so 3s will confuse themselves about what they're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
However, it's less like, so like as a 5, I don't have feelings. Like, I mean, I do have feelings, but like I'm not hardly in touch with them at all. Whereas a 3, I feel like, is feeling a lot, is in
Right.
their feels, but is just removed from, like, cannot see how
Right.
they are. Yeah.
So like, but you as a 5, you're
Mm-hmm.
processing your feelings as something separate from you. The 3s are
Yes.
living in their feelings but not processing them.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Yeah.
I have a lot of quote stuff here. Are we going to read all
I
of
do.
this?
I am gonna read the Heuertz one because I am having trouble understanding that one exactly.
We'll
So
break
I'm
it
gonna
down
read
together.
yeah, we'll break it down together. I'll read it. If anyone who is listening wants to email us about their thoughts on that, please do, because I'm struggling a bit with it. Especially a 3. If a 3 could go and read it and be like, hey, this is how I feel, and break it down, that would be perfect. All right, so a brief overview of what the passions and virtues are. So, part of Achazo's theory is that there are certain things about our nature that keep us from being grounded in our centers. And these are the passions. He kind of based them loosely around the 7 deadly sins, adding deceit and fear to bring it up to 9. And then you also have your virtues, which are kind of the opposite of your passion. And it depends on what you're kind of reading, because there is like the Christian spiritual side of the Enneagram. And so they kind of see the passions as like your fatal flaw and, like your sins and stuff like that. Whereas the whereas the virtue is kind of the antidote to that. We are not Christian, so our takes are going to be less through a Christian lens. And that's why I kind of like to focus on Heuertz, because his just seems a little less judgy, and he doesn't agree with them being sins or tragic character flaws.
Right. And I would reposition the sort of passions, virtues as like we have certain like deficits to our character in that we don't have enough of something, and we have certain like overcompensations to our character, which is we have too much of something. And like a lot of the work around the Enneagram is evening that out, you know? Here's an area where I've really like neglected myself. And here's an area that I've been focusing too much on, that I've embraced it so that it's the whole of my being. And it's like knowing when to ease on back and focus on something else.
Yeah. And so like Heuertz says, I understand the passions to be our ego's basic coping tool to reconnect with essence, the most rudimentary contrivance we instinctively appeal to in our unconscious attempt to find our way home. The passions could be viewed as a small keychain flashlight used while lost in the middle of a forest. Though it may seem helpful because of the brightness of the simple light in the darkness, it is still an entirely inadequate lifeline. Yeah. That was one of my quotes.
Yeah. But 3s are one of the added ones, right? So 3s and 6s are the 2 that they added on, because 3s are deceit.
And 6s are fear.
6s are fear. So but the deceit, you had something about the deceit and recontextualizing the deceit as like through Heuertz and his work.
Yes. So Heuertz does not like the names that they have been given. He doesn't. He also really does not like that they were tied to the like 7 deadly sins. So he has like a theory basis that everyone has a carnal hunger, an emotional ache, and an existential restlessness, and they each lead into each other. So a 3's carnal hunger is illusion, their emotional ache is subtlety, and their existential restlessness is dissimulation.
You're gonna have to explain what all of those mean, because I am lost.
So I am gonna read word for word what Heuertz says, and we're gonna break it down together because I think I have like a basic grasp of it, but I also really want you to weigh in. So,
Okay.
type 3 metabolizes this ever-present duplicity in their bodies by eluding their carnal hunger, by eluding its need to be faced and interrogated for what's instinctually behind it. Their psychological ability to evade deception merely serves to give it more power over them. Aching this disconnect, 3's repressed heart center can't bear to face yet another inner imperfection that could be viewed by others as a conscious blemish. So type 3's subtly refine their deceptions by over or under exaggerating them in socially passable transmissions. In this way, they hope to be seen as more legitimized than they really are, not entirely feeling the impact of their pretenses. Type 3 dissimulates consequences by mentally disassembling the image projection of what they won't or can't be truthful about. So what I got from this is that they feel all these pressures on them, and that alludes to what they think that they need to be or what they should be. And so what they do is they subtly refine how they present themselves. So I don't think they necessarily lie, but they will omit things.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being like, like some of those headlines that are like 700 people lived, but then like when you find out how many people died, like that kind of thing. And like, yeah, so like that, yeah, they spin it. One site I read had
great lawyers.
One site I read said that they make their own personal PR. And so they create that, and what they do.
But like I do that too, and maybe that's
I think everyone does it.
3. Yeah, but that's not like we all kind of do that in the way that we interact with people. You present things in a way that you think someone will understand and or enjoy.
I think it's the next step.
So I missed a lot of that because I had to go look up what illusion was. But the problem that I'm getting from that, like when I'm reading into it, is that you have yourself, right? Like who you actually are and what actually happened, and you're looking past that to construct a facade in front of it instead of being like highlighting spots that are actually you.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's where the dissimulation comes into, because what they do is they mentally accept the image, and so they dissimulate, which is like accepting or like getting rid of some of the facts that you don't What was the definition again? I can't remember. It was like
okay, so it's a linguistic term. And it is, let me look it up.
But anyway,
well, it's a linguistic word, but in phonology, similar consonants or vowels in a word become less similar. So for example, when a sound occurs before another in the middle of a word, I'm literally just reading from the Wikipedia right now. The first tends to drop out, as in berserk or berserk.
There was another definition you read.
Surprise. So you're just like dropping a letter. Like it's no big deal, really. 3s, you're fine. You're just dropping a letter.
The problem is when the projected image, when you can't or won't be truthful about it, is what he said. So like when you start believing only the stuff that you have spun and cannot accept the other bits of yourself.
So you go to your SATs and your college entrance exams and you write surprise instead of surprise and present that as the truth. And you know what, this is I've taken enough linguistics classes to know that pedagogical grammar is bullshit, so. But anyways.
Okay. Moving on. All right, so there was a second website that I saw, and I also saw this come up on a couple of them, but it was like their passion is also vanity. And so what they said about it is uh hold on. I am trying to impress others in order to feel valuable. And I like to seek better because I don't think it's really vanity, because it's not, I love everything about myself, I am so important. It's, I'm going to cover up what I don't like about myself.
Right. So when threes get out of the shower, they don't flex in the mirror because no one's around. I'm sorry, that's just
You might.
what my brain went to.
Yeah.
It was like,
I mean,
if there's no one around, threes, do you still flex to yourself?
who knows? Threes, chime in.
I know that these are like really important questions and all, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I had to ask. Sorry, continue with the real work here.
But yeah, and I also didn't like the, I'm trying to impress others in order to feel valuable. I don't like impress, just because it's more about complete control over their image, you know? And so it might not necessarily be a full, like, I want to impress you and dazzle you. It might, like, sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's just, I want to be seen as, like, overall good. I don't know.
Sometimes it's causing conflict, which isn't impressive to the person you're getting in conflict with.
That's true.
Like, they're not going to like you more if you're starting to fight them over something.
Yeah. Ready to move on to the virtues?
Yeah.
Okay. So their virtue is authenticity. So they just kind of learn how to really see themselves and, like, be like, okay, this is completely, like, who I am. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm bad at. They just kind of learn to be. And I'm going to read this one quote. It's very Christian oriented, but it still kind of encapsulates, like, their virtue. So, authenticity, which leads to the godlike quality of holy harmony / hope. When a three does their spiritual work and accepts that they are loved not for what they do, but for who they are, they move out into the world with their authentic selves. They are able to use their high energy and drive to motivate a group towards worthy goals. They also provide others with grounded, realistic optimism founded on the great hope of a loving God. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like to pull they move out into the world with their authentic selves from that.
I can see that.
So non-religious threes, what is your realistic optimism founded on? Because here it says their realistic optimism is founded on the great hope of a loving God. But if you're not religious, like, what is it founded on? I'm interested. Please inform me.
Humanity?
No, yeah.
Humanity, I feel like a lot of people, like, even if you are religious, hopefully you hope in humanity, you know, like, you have, like, the idea of other humans brings you a little bit of joy.
Meh.
Okay. Bye, 5. Go with your cat. It's okay. I don't need your love.
I don't know. I like the idea of humanity. I don't know.
It can be a very curated humanity in your case.
Yeah.
A curated humanity of your select humans.
Yes, I will. All the rest of the humans, you're good, chill, just, I'm just gonna hang out with my peeps. All right. So
maybe you'll get more social when you get older. My father certainly has.
I think I have gotten more social the older I've gotten, like, just between high school me and like me now, because like high school me did not enjoy socializing at all. Like I think my entire childhood I had 3 like slumber parties where I invited people over. Like that was it.
Hmm.
And they were usually like smaller things, and all the while I kind of hated it just because they were invading my space.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
why you go slumber party at someone else's house.
I did go to a couple of those, but those were also exhausting. And
Yeah.
so like I don't know,
Space.
I didn't have a lot of friends, and that's not a like, oh poor me, I didn't have friends. It's more of a like I just
Thank
did
God
not
I didn't
like.
have to deal with other children.
Yeah, exactly. I just didn't like a lot of people. And now I have like a couple of friend groups, and it's nice. And I actually talk to them. Yeah. Okay, 3 blind spots. So
Mm.
we've touched on this with like the passion, but it's their awareness of their presentation and their self-image, and over identifying with what they've like presented out to the world. And getting kind of wrapped up in that and losing touch.
Like, you just say a mantra enough times and you start to think that it's true, even though
Hmm.
it's not really true.
3s, do you love mantras?
Maybe they do.
What type what type loves mantras the most?
4s.
Yeah, 4s.
I bet 4s are really into mantras.
What they
Well,
are.
only a specific, like, subtype of 4, I'm sure.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know which one. So I will say that, like, I bet 3, I mean, you have more 3 friends than me, but I bet 3 friends and 3s in relationships at first very much play the part that they think is required of them. So, like,
Oh, I think
I'm
that's
being
going
a good
on.
friend right now because I'm
Hmm.
doing this for you. And then if it's unhealthy, if they don't actually want to be friends with that person, they'll go to 9 and start
Hmm.
resenting them for like imposing on their space. But if it's like good, then they'll get over that a little bit, hopefully, and integrate into I don't have to play a part around you.
Hmm. I think that went into the what was it, Helen Palmer's chart, the
Hmm.
sexuals fixating on like femininity and masculinity.
I
Uh,
think that that's a lot of
yeah, I think it's like if you are in a standard like heterosexual, maybe
normative
even,
relationship.
yeah, then focusing on the I'm a woman, so I should display these qualities, or I'm a man, so I should be these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you just get super. Okay, this is why we're not safe to work for work. I bet 3s had a lot of anxiety about sex in the beginning.
Oh.
Because just imagine, like, being aware of what others think of you constantly, or
Mhm.
being aware of others' perceptions of you, and also having that awareness during sex.
So a lot of my 3 friends do struggle with um image stuff and like body image.
Because I mean, that is just like,
Mm-hmm.
what a way to kill the mood to be thinking about your thighs right now, you know?
Oh, oh, 3s.
I know.
3s chime in. Is that like, do you feel that? I don't know. I
I
want to
mean, I
know.
think, like, in our society, especially in like relationships where you don't have to interrogate a lot of those stuff, and I'm talking specifically about like cis hetero relationships where
Mhm.
um, if you're not careful, a lot of the oh my gosh, my anthropologist is coming out, but like the social programming of it. Oh, which by the way, I'm gonna take a complete 180 tangent here. I would love to hear from a 3 sociologist, because think about like having all of that knowledge in your brain about society and what society is telling you you should do and how other people think about things, and also being a 3.
Ooh.
Like, isn't that great? What was it? Oh, but like if you're in a relationship there's already a lot of pressure to conform to certain things, especially like around sexism and about like middle class lifestyles and like all of that type of shit. Um, that it's like you got to do some extra interrogating, like everyone does.
Yeah.
I don't know. 3 sociologists, hit us up.
Honestly, anyone at this point, please hit us up. Our
We're
email is very dry. Okay. Next, blind spot. Threes can find it difficult to either maybe accept criticism or even discuss any negative issues with themselves or with their work or anything like that. So being able to take criticism kind of takes a little bit of work for threes.
I think their 9 is showing here.
In what way?
I also am not the best at taking criticism, but like
Is that 9 or is that you going to 3?
it's like I think the ways that 3s like act with it is different. The 9s are just like, oh yeah, oh I'll do better, and then like nothing ever fucking changes. It's very, like not quite passive aggressive, more like aggressively passive.
That's the best description of 9s ever. Aggressively passive.
I feel like 3s just don't give a shit though. They probably just be like, yeah, I did. Okay, but like you're really not getting that this is a strength for me because I'm struggling with all of this stuff. It's gonna make me a stronger person. They do great in job interviews. What is your weakness? My weakness is I have no weaknesses.
My weakness. Okay. All right. Next, blind spot. They can come across as impatient and dismissive, because they want to do stuff. They're like goal oriented. They want to do stuff. They don't want to do it right. They want to do it fast. And so working in groups, if other people are incompetent or might make them look bad or something like that, they, can be kind of brash and dismissive and maybe even a little rude.
If a 3 and a 1 had to do a project together, would it be the best one ever, or would it blow up immediately?
Okay, it would depend entirely upon whether or not they agreed, like on the basis,
the concept and the execution.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the 3 would be big concept and the 1 would be big execution. And so if the execution was bad, the 1 would get really mad. And if the concept was bad, the 3 would get really mad.
Yeah. So if they agree, 100% best team ever. Like, that's what you want. Honestly, the dream team would be a 1, a 3, and a 5.
All the competency.
All the competency. You need that 5 doing the research and just like connecting all the little strings, Mm-hmm. I think the 5 might bring balance to a 1-3 group project.
Dude, when my dad and my sister get on something, that shit is done. This is happening. There's no stopping it. My dad's a 5 and my sister's a 1, by the way. It's nothing to do with 3s. I'm sorry, 3s. I know you wanted to have some attention.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna drop in some 5 info here. As a 5, one of the problems that 5 struggle with is like getting started because they'll like research and then never actually do anything. When I get with a 5 or a 3, I just kind of blossom and like flourish because they put that like pressure on me, and then I just kind of go and like
done.
Yeah, they need to get shit done, and so that under the pressure of them, instead of like crumbling, I can kind of accept it and move forward. And I think it's because they are both so either image oriented or like being good oriented, you know what I mean? Mm. That because I know they're not going to accept anything less than like perfection, if I'm putting out something that they're approving of, then it must be good enough. and I don't need any more information.
Oh.
Like, it's confirmed. I don't know. I think it gives me enough security to, like, move. Huh?
I said 135 besties.
Yeah, I know. It's so great.
Rule the world.
I have a group chat with a 1 and a 3 and myself, and it's called the Maidens of Mayhem. And it's wonderful. It's the best group chat ever. But yeah.
Speaking of 3s, did we get through all the stuff?
I think
I was definitely
there's one more
smooth transition, but then I realized that we could not smooth transition at this point, so I retract my smooth transition and make it unsmooth. There you go. Last point.
Last point is, because they are so confident, and they are so assertive, some of their, like, they can be seen as dismissive because they're like, this is right, this is, like, this is certain, I guess. They kind of take their own opinions and their own views as, like, an absolute right. Almost like a 1, but more, I don't know, more project, I guess, oriented. I'm not sure if that's entirely right. 3s chime in.
I guess, like, 1s just have opinions on everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know? 3s don't have to have opinions on anything. Like, really. But, like, when they do have opinions on stuff.
It's...
Like, when they have...
like, I am right.
Stuff, they're certain.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they have opinions on stuff all the time. I think sometimes 3s just don't actually care that much.
Mm-hmm.
But they, like, know that they have to care. So they're like, yes, I guess I'll have an opinion. I'm certain, though, because I'm gonna, like, be on my shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe I get from it. Whereas I think that 1s just pop out and they, like, always have opinions on everything. You know, like, they come out with a little list in the back of their head about how the world's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to think of a way to, like, smooth transition, but I don't have one.
I've jinxed our smooth transitions. We're never having another one in this entire fucking podcast. It's done. It's over. We're going to strengths.
So, strengths of the 3, you guys are ambitious, very ambitious, and that is super great, because on projects and in careers, or even in just, like, relationships and stuff like that, it really drives you, and you guys are very driven and result oriented.
3s are, if you're Harry Potter fans, are you a Slytherin? We have bets on what all of the, like, houses are for their numbers.
Yes, and, like, or what the majority of each house is. Or,
that will have to be an episode at some point.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
And I think we had 3s in Slytherin and Gryffindor, wasn't it?
They gotta be.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the biggest houses. They're the loudest houses. They're the houses with the most attention. I'm not saying that you want attention, 3s. I'm just saying
that's more the 4s.
Out. You want support. You're support-seeking people, even if you won't say it.
Oh. But yeah.
You are efficient. That was another smooth transition right there. Did you see that?
I did.
You're efficient. You're resourceful. You know how to do things in a way that's productive. You got that good competency triad like we just talked about. And if you meet a 1 and a 5, befriend
it's the dream team.
Take over the world. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I have a 1 friend who, so he talks about Donald Trump, and he says, the thing I'm most mad about is that Donald Trump is living my ultimate power fantasy. Because he really is. He just can say whatever he wants, and, like, nothing has happened to him, really. You know?
Must be that for 1s. That must be like, how does that even happen, though?
Yeah. And so he has decided, like, in his ultimate power fantasy, he wants to have basically the same amount of power as, like, Trump apparently has now. Like, with just being able to get away with shit.
Totalitarian dictator, okay.
Yes. And he has decided that I'm going to be his yes man.
Oh, okay.
I'll just be his.
Maddie, I hate to break it to you, but I don't think you'd be a good yes man.
I'm definitely not. This is the flaw in his plan.
I think your friend chose poorly. To get a 2 or a 9 to be his yes man. Because let me tell you, the numbers that you can walk over and will essentially, like, stab you in the back eventually, but, like, for a while be okay with it, just hate you internally.
See, what I plan on doing in his power fantasy is being like the Mike Pence to his Trump, which is where he's doing all of his power stuff. I'm
He's
just like,
gonna
yeah,
have a power
buddy.
and you're gonna be like the emperor behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, buddy, you do that, and I'm just pulling all of the strings that I want and being like, yeah, you go do that, you go say that weird thing.
You guys are going to star in your own version of the one series about the guy that's shit. What is that called? It's the guy that murders a bunch of people to become president.
I don't know that show, but that sounds like a good show.
He's got like that southern accent and he pushes a lady in front of a train. Spoilers.
I don't know this show at all.
I don't know what the show is. But it's about like I don't know. It's got some White House, whatever, something political drama. I really don't like them because everyone is just so mean to each other.
I never watched House of Cards. Is it House of Cards?
It's House of Cards. Spoilers.
Ah, I got it.
Lots of people die.
Okay. Speaking of fun stuff like death, let's move into the fun stuff. That is not smooth at all. I tried.
Yeah, we're doomed.
We're doomed.
Sex.
So, we found this website and it gave favorite sex position based on your Enneagram type. And so we've been discussing those each episode. So for the 3, they said it was doggy style. And their quote is, "The achiever is super ambitious and determined. They likely enjoy the chance to move fast. Doggy style is an excellent option for the achiever because it offers an opportunity to let loose and go to town." I'm going to just say, yeah, okay, but it feels kind of like a cop-out, you know? Because it's like, I feel like they wanted to put doggy style in somewhere, and they were like, let's just give it to the 3.
Yeah, they can have it.
Yeah. Personally, I think that because they are the, like, achiever, they're going to want something that, like, shows off their sexual prowess. So, like, you know, maybe being able to, like, put a leg behind your head or something like, oh, look at me, I'm so flexible, leg behind my head, or like great oral skills or something like that. Something that like shows like you know what you're doing. You're not just like average at sex, like you're the best at sex. You know? You want to leave your 3s want to leave their partner going wow in the morning.
Yeah, it's got to be such a point of pride.
Mhm.
Or at least like I can't be bad at this.
Yeah.
I can't be bad at sex. What? No. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Do you think 3s are mostly tops?
I think it depends again on their subtype. So like sexual male 3s or heterosexual sexual male 3s, try saying that 5 times fast, are probably like tops just because they think that that's what they're supposed to do, but maybe more
maybe they're secretly bottoms though.
Yeah, and maybe
lying to themselves all the time.
And women in a more feeling the pressure to be in a more traditional role might be more submissive, but maybe they have that secret desire. Secret tops. I don't know.
Switch.
3s, what are you? Are you tops, bottoms, switches? Maybe they want to be good all around at sex. So the perfect submissive, the perfect top.
Everything. That seems like a 7 thing though. Just like I want to do everything.
That very true, actually. I take that back. I don't know. I think in general, threes are probably tops.
Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting too. It's
Mm-hmm.
like because if it's about image control, it's like counterintuitive to be out of control in a situation where you're already vulnerable. Your fucking clothes are off. You're naked.
That's so true.
Like, physically and metaphorically. Well, maybe not completely physically. You can still have sex with your clothes on. But, like, you know, you don't want to do that extra step of also, like, being on the bottom.
True.
That's my read of it. That's all I have to say about three's sex life. I know nothing. I am an expert at all.
Threes, tell us about your sex life. Please do.
If you feel comfortable. No peer pressure.
I'm pretty sure I've had sex with a 3. But I'm not entirely sure that he was a 3.
Wait.
You know this person, yes.
I know exactly. That dude strikes me as a 3.
Yeah.
He's gotta be in the heart triad at the very least. I think he's a 3.
Yeah. And okay, I'm gonna say this before with the like leg above my head stuff. He was putting me in some positions, and kind of like being like, look at me, I'm strong, I can lift you up a little bit, like
I bet that's a thing. That's like a kink for threes of like lifting their partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was putting me in some positions. Also, my leg can apparently go behind my head, apparently. I found that out with him.
just fucking happened.
Just did.
Shit,
but it was great.
Now.
It was great though. I think sex with threes is probably always good, just because if it was bad, their ego couldn't handle it.
They would just be abstinent until they could get good at sex. They would not. But here's the thing. I was reading through Helen Palmer's stuff, and this girl was like, I could not tell anyone that I applied to Stanford until I knew that I got in. Because I couldn't stand the idea that I wouldn't get in, right? But just imagine being a 3 and like being like, oh shit, I'm bad at sex. I can never have sex with anyone until I get good at sex. Or I can't have sex with anyone that I know or that would know me.
Just a series of one-night stands.
Simply do hookups to build up that like ability and skill. And then you would move on to relationships. Is that what you do, threes? Is that a thing?
Also, with the top or bottom or switch thing, I think this person that I was with was more of a switch. Top leaning, but definitely, I don't know. I was on top first, and that was his choice. So, I don't know. It's more about my sex life than you guys needed to know, but I keep forgetting that we actually have an audience and that this isn't just you and me having a conversation. And I have to check myself because like I just gave up a little bit too much information for me as a 5 to be able to feel comfortable with.
Edit it out later. Just have like a long beeping section. Like imply that you talk about your sexual life, but then just have like a good like 10 seconds of just like beep and then cut right to this moment and we'll be laughing about it, you know?
I don't know. I'll figure it out in the editing.
It's a good prop. Okay. Do your dog things that I can't relate to because I've never seen a dog before.
So, I have a list of what each type is, or what each type is as a dog breed. I think type 3s are poodles. Reason being is poodles very pretty, very prestigious, but also amazing hunting dogs. In fact, they were bred for hunting, but they were bred to be pretty, and bred to be hunting dogs for like kings and dukes and stuff. So they're amazing at like what they do, but also while being very pretty and like pristine. Like they're supposed to be like the best hunting dogs and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I don't know. I just thought I got massive 3 vibes, like being the best at something while looking the best. You know? Like, that gives me 3 vibes, right? And that's what poodles
3.
were bred to be.
That's pretty 3.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, 3s are poodles. KJ disagreed that 2s were pit bulls, but then I argued it, and he was like,
Pit bull?
Huh?
Has he seen a pit bull?
Yeah, he's seen a pit bull.
They're just cute, cuddly.
Mm-hmm.
So I, to my great shame, did not prepare a meme for this week. But, listen to this. I'm going to tell you a story right now, published by the, I think it's the New York Times advice column.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to say, it sounds to me like a 3, although it might not be.
Okay.
But this woman, I assume, not confirmed, is self-employed, and a few weeks ago had a baby. Is working on a project that's supposed to launch earlier in the year, but has been pushed back, with a business partner that they meet with like once a week remotely. But now they're working from home, and the baby is around, and they know that their partner, their business partner, is going to find out they have a baby and didn't say anything beforehand. And they're like, what the fuck do I do with my secret baby? Now the advice is gaslight the fuck out of this man and pretend like he already knew you had a baby. But tell me, is it not extremely hilarious and the height of like the conundrum that you could get into as a 3, perhaps, that you have a secret baby?
Because also, I feel like the person giving the advice is also a 3 too. Like,
yeah,
just double down. Like,
just double down.
I have always had this baby. I have told you about this baby.
Push the launch date and didn't want their business partner to think that they weren't committed to the project.
Is that maybe a 1 though? Because of the like.
See, I mean, it might be 1, but I feel like a 1 would be like, wouldn't want to lie about that, right?
Oh, that's very true.
They would feel like morally bad about lying, so they would have to fess up. Right?
Yeah. Mhm. Okay.
If
yeah.
Wants to do bad shit, they will tell you about it later. Sometimes, not all the time, but like, you know, generally.
Mhm.
Ones will be like, ah, man, fuck, my bad. Not my bad, but they'll tell you about it. They won't ever admit that it was actually their fault, but they'll know, so they'll tell you. It's really complicated. Anyways, I think that person is a 3. That's my meme of the week, that New York Times advice column.
Okay. So I have 2 memes. I think that the little like base meme of like the cat in the tie with the like the multicolored triangular background. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like the basic.
Yeah.
10?
And it's like, yeah, like I think that just, yeah, I think that just in general is a 3. Like cat in a tie, like here I am, ready, you know, like I don't know. It just struck me as very 3-like. And then you know the Pokemon butterfly meme, like
yes.
is this a
so yeah,
so 3s as the like base person, and then self PR is the little butterfly, and then is this how I actually am as the like the caption. Like, yeah. Is
this authenticity?
Is this authenticity? Better. So much better. Is this authenticity?
4s, we're coming for you next week.
All right.
That pause an awkward long time. I was trying to transition.
We've just messed up all of the transitions this entire podcast.
So, but we want to know. So,
apparently
Truth or
apparently
dare?
that meme is not from Pokemon. KJ just informed me. What's it
It's
from?
not.
I don't
I
know,
was
but
willing
it's
to
not
believe
Pokemon,
it's
some
from an anime.
anime.
It's from some anime. Okay.
I was
It's
triggered.
generically Japanese because they're the book and all the anime style.
KJ said he was triggered. So I'm sorry if I triggered anyone else.
By referring to it as Pokemon.
Yes, I humbly apologize.
Well, we are meme illiterate apparently, but you know who's not? Force. How was that transition? Was that better?
So much better. That was a great one. A+.
Okay. So Force, our question for you that we will answer next week. Send us in your answers. Do you choose to true? God damn it! I feel like okay. I feel like I've sounded like I'm drunk this whole time. I'm really not. I'm just tired. But like time has lost all meaning, and my sleep schedule is just fucked. Force, do you choose truth or dare more often? Which one and why? Tell us. Email us at Enneagram, anything. Damn it. EnneathingGoes@gmail.com. Wait, we can tape over this, right? Like this is what post is for.
Yes.
Or tweet us at EnneathingGoes on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Maddie, you want to brag about our podcast reviews?
Yes, we are still a 5-star podcast as of today. I'm so proud.
Just before we recorded, just to make sure.
I check every now and then, but yeah. So leave us a review. Also, if you wanted to leave us a comment another way, you can't really leave a comment on any platform except for YouTube, but definitely leave us a comment there if you have anything to say, like Caden said. We have the email and the Twitter.
Yeah.
The Twitters.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Stay safe out there in this cold, harsh world. Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.